Hello, hi. Welcome to HCMguru, and thank you so much for doing this with us. Would you please like to introduce yourself for our viewers?
Sure. Thanks, Sidravati. It was nice to be kind of invited for this first video that you're putting up on your media site. So something about me. My name is Sayan Guha, and I've been in this industry for the last around 8 to 10 years in the learning industry. I come from a background of I am a software engineer, and I come from the Kurukshetra University and throughout my entire career, I have been a person who has been trying to do new things. 5 years in GCube, and I'm heading the product innovation uh, in the LMS and learning technologies for GCube. So that's a bit about me.
Right. Thank you so much for that intro. So, Sain, given that you are working in the product innovation area, could you please tell us what would be the UI trends for LMS in, say, 2020?
That's a very interesting question, Indrapati. Okay, so over the past few years, we have seen a lot of different changes in the way that platforms in general, and I'm not talking about just the LMS software have picked up from the UI trends which have come up in the last few around 5 or 6 years. And I'll be talking about three big trends that we have seen and how they have impacted the learning technologies, not only the LMS, but the LXP, the collaboration tools, the entire learning technologies paradigm has been shifted because of these UI trends. So let me talk about the first one, and I'm sure your viewers and you must have heard of. I call it the channel approach, and this is something which has not only been seen in YouTube, but has been picked up by a lot of content providers, especially the video content providers. These channels are basically based on your history of how you have consumed the content in the past. So if you're
So,
looking at a lot of videos on sports, you get a lot of videos of sports being suggested to you, and that is because you've seen. But people like you and me, we have varied interests, and the algorithm works very brilliantly. But the way that it shows in the channels in the landing page of YouTube is very intuitive, because you see that okay, these are sports videos, these are news videos, these are videos about songs, even esoteric ones, that okay, these are videos which, let's say, are talking about a particular political view that you have. So the way of suggesting and the way of segregating content on the basis of content properties as well as your consumption properties is something that is brilliantly done in YouTube.
so what I was going to ask is, so what you're saying is the channel-based approach that is so, brilliantly used in YouTube is something that we will be seeing is being adapted in LMSs through.
Absolutely, not only in LMSs. If you look at the entire learning, environment, all the gamut of platforms and softwares which are available today, be it a content provider like Coursera, be it a learning experience platform like Degree, be it an LMS like ours, GCube LMS, you would see that this channel-based approach is being picked up by everybody. Everyone has channels. These are your mandatory courses. These are the courses on this particular topic. These are the courses which are linked to your skills, etc., etc. So suggestions, categorization, even search is something that we are seeing that is being brought in from the YouTube, from OTT platforms like Netflix, from OTT platforms like Prime Video, into something which is uh, an LMS platform or a content provider or content repository as well, like Coursera, Udemy, etc. So we see that it is pervasive.
Right. So YouTube is what we understood one of the beginning platforms in the one of the earliest platforms of social media. So what other kind of social media adaptations do you think are possible?
Yes. So the second thing that we see a lot, and it has picked up, again, I would say that the first time that it picked up was with MySpace and Orkut. If you remember Orkut, I
Yeah.
don't know. Millennials would not kind of
No,
remember
I have
that
used
these
it.
two things, but Facebook. You have used Orkut, okay. So Facebook is the one which popularized the feed or the wall concept of an UI. Now it's a very social kind of a UI. What it does it is that it curates. It is a curation mechanism. It curates content which has been socially gathered or crowdsourced. So all your friends, all your acquaintances, any connect that you have are putting up something that they find interesting wherever they find. Maybe it's their point of view, maybe it's some article that they found online, maybe it's a piece of media that they want to share, and then it throws them up on a wall, an unending wall of content that you can consume. Okay, so Facebook, you can see the wall, you can just scroll down, see all the posts that are there. You can do the same thing with LinkedIn, you can do the same thing with Instagram. All these places are basically curation engines working on crowdsourced content.
Right.
And this is kind of embellished or made even better or more addictive through a kind of social, let's say, reward mechanism. And this reward mechanism is something that you see in the likes, the comments, the emoticons that you see there. Okay, the shares, etc. A curation engine which works with crowdsourced content and has a social angle of rewarding whatever we put up in a mechanism which makes us feel good. That is why we are on social media, to get the likes, right?
Right.
Uh, this is also something which is happening in the learning landscape. Learning is, again, there is a principle called the 70-20-10 principle, in which we say that 10% is your structured learning, 20% is your informal learning, and 70% is something which is learning on the job. 20% of this informal learning which is happening is something which we, let's say, I will talk to a colleague or ask him for an opinion or tell him how to work this particular Excel file and get that information. This informal learning is something which can be really, really well leveraged through a social media UI like a wall. A wall would help people to share knowledge. It helps people to interact with other people and also give that kind of an incentive for people to share knowledge because they get a lot of likes and comments and etc. And we, as human beings, kind of love that.
Right.
So we are seeing this again in terms of degree LXPs do that. There's a lot of sharing. There's a lot of interaction which happens there. We have seen LinkedIn Learning do it very well by integrating it with a social platform like LinkedIn. On the basis of the information which is collected, there is a lot of suggestions which comes back to the first thing, which is about suggestions and AI working in a channel-based UI, which is integrated well with this wall to get the information and then suggest accordingly. So we are seeing a lot of trends of learning using the wall as a beautiful collaborative social learning platform and UI, as well as a way that you can curate and crowdsource learning so that the most relevant things are sent to you. So this is
Right.
another trend which is happening.
And what is the third trend that you think is going to pick up?
So the third thing that is happening is basically the absence of a UI. And when I say that the absence of a UI means that obviously you need some kind of a mechanism by which you communicate with a platform like a learning platform, etc. But what if we used the existing mechanisms for communicating with each other and then utilize it to communicate with the platform as well? So a lot of organizations in the mid 2010s started off with this trend where they said that if you remember the DOS prompt and where you had to type in everything and get the result, we are right now very used to something like this because we use WhatsApp a lot, we use Facebook Messenger a lot, etc. We use emails not only as a mechanism to communicate with each other, but as a notification mechanism also, because there are a lot of automated notifications which come as emails to us. We use things like text messages. We use things like app notifications, etc. And these are all communication mediums which do not require a UI per se. Okay. So this is what is going to happen in the next few years, I think, and already happening with a few of the platforms. You will not ever see the UI of the learning platform that you're working on. You will not see how the landing page looks like. You will not see how to access a course, etc. You will have a WhatsApp bot. You will type in, let's say, hey, my VR assistant, and what it will do is that it will all the things that you can see and do, let's say with a Siri or a Google Assistant or a Cortana, is something that you should be able to do with your LMS also. And you need not actually go outside of Siri or Google Assistant or Cortana. You can actually talk to Siri and then ask Siri to connect with the LMS and give you the options. So these kind of things which don't require a UI, where you are talking to the platform as if you would be talking to another person, where you are utilizing the immense advancements that we have done over the last few years in terms of natural language processing, the way the bots have actually started speaking to us, and we cannot distinguish whether a person is sitting at the other end or if it is a AI algorithm, is going to really take this UI thing by storm, where designers will not be thinking about the color, the shape of the cards, etc., but interactions will be designed. The what we call as an interaction, like the way that we are talking. So
Right.
these interactions will be designed by UI people rather than the visual feel of it. So that is, I think, going to be again one of the big trends of UI in the coming years.
Right. Thank you so much, Sayan. That was a very interesting session with you. And we hope that our viewers enjoy your views and learn from your views as much. Uh, if we get any questions regarding this session, we will get back to you with those questions again.
Sure, anytime. Thank you so much for doing the session, and hopefully you get great success with this new platform of yours. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you so